Today on A Commonly Good MTG, we're playing a mono green ramp duck. This been entitled Crushing Green. Crushing Green. What is it about mono green ramp? Well, it's all mono green, meaning green, 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 green. And ramp, which is something you don't really see much of anymore, which is where we're not trying to trick our big baddies into play. We're just trying to throw down so much mana and mana sources early that we can start playing huge dudes by mid-game, well before anybody else can handle it. If that sounds good to you, then stay tuned to find out more. Hello and welcome to Uncommonly Good MTG. I'm your host, and you know, in Magic cards, just like in weightlifting, I don't think that sudden, uncontrollable urination should disqualify you. Doctor, you can't suck it. Yes, thank you. Film before live studio audience. Thank you so much. You can't suck it. Word to your mama. So I'm broadcasting to you today from my secret underground headquarters, and I'm bringing to you a deck I found over on the Aether Hub, posted by MagicDeckAnalisis, and he entitled it Verde Aplastante, which when translated means crushing green. Crushing green. What kind of deck is this? It's a mono green ramp deck. Mono green ramp, which is something you don't see much anymore. Which with ramp, it's where you're just plowing out with mana and mana sources as hard as possible in the early game so that you could scoot down your cards to much earlier than it would be normally out there. And when you're throwing out like 7 mana dudes on turn 4 and 5, then that's usually much more than your opponents are capable of handling. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the cards in this deck. We'll talk a little bit about how it should work, and then we're going to go out and we're going to crush some hopes and dreams. What do we got going on here today? We got Analyze the Pollen, which for one will go get you a land. If you can collect evidence up to 8, which is killing 8 mana's worth of stuff in the graveyard, then you go get a creature or land card and put that whatever you get into your hand. So this guy can go get whatever you want, potentially, when you get later on in the game. So hold on to this one. Bushwhack, go get you a land, or you get one of your guys in a fight. So we got dual purposes for both these guys. Mana Elf. This guy, you can offspring it for 3, having 2 guys, and then anytime one of your creatures becomes the target of a spell or ability, then you put a Popo counter on target creature control. You got 2 of them out. That's 2 Popo counters you're tossing around, right? Bramble Familiar essentially is a mana source, and you return it to your hand. Once you get up to 7, you go looking for creature, enchantment, or lands, and then put it into the battlefield directly. So yeah, later on this becomes a fantastic card, but right off the bat, mana source. This guy, it comes out, he's equal to the number of forests you control. We're dropping nothing but forests. So you'll get big, 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 big. If you could play him for 5 to disguise as like a dread, practically, whatever they're called. Then when you pop it over, you get to go get 2 cards, put 1 into the battlefield and 1 into your hand. Not cards, but forests. So he helps to get the mana going up like crazy. This guy if you got 4 mana, you can put out 2 of them because the offsprings for 2, in which case they are mana sources. If you're not using for mana, you can put Popo counters on themselves. What do we got? This guy, you can plot it whenever it enters the battlefield, which you could play for 0. Then you get an extra mana, so that's technically a one-off mana source, almost like a treasure. But then you're sitting there with a nice 4/2 guy when you're all done, which is fantastic. Polukranos, it only costs you 3 to put out, and is a 4/5 with reach. Fantastic. You could play 6 and or 7. We don't have white mana, so you always just use the Phyrexian life cost to put it out for 6. Turns into a 6/6 with lifelink and reach, and if it dies, then what did you put out? 2 Hydras, 1 with reach and 1 with lifelink, but they're both 3/3s. So these guys got value, big time value. This guy you can put out for 3, at which point you put out a token for mana, which then pumps up like the Flourishing Bloom-Kin. If you have, and then after whatever it is, 4 turns, he comes out. Or you can put it straight out for 5, and we got lots of mana. So chances are you can pay for this guy full on, and then start putting out tons of tokens every time he attacks, which gets you easily into the ability to put out things like Vaultborn Tyrants, Nissa, and the Sire of the Seven Deaths. If we can't get this guy through normal card draw, then Analyze Pollen will let you go get it. Bramble Familiar will let you go get it. So you got that. I'm going to go get it. I don't have to worry about card draw. I'm just going to go get the guy that I want. All right, so that's it. That's the deck. What are we going to do? We're going to be ramping like crazy, trying to get our mana going like nuts, dropping dudes out here, which are probably going to get us even more mana. And then lastly, going and fetching the guys that we really want, dropping in play, and making our opponents having to deal with horrible situations by mid-game. All right, so that's it. That's the deck. It's an oldie but a goodie. Before we get started, let's do as we do every night. Let's say our prayers and talk about what's best in life. Hands together. Dear Black Queen Sholdred, who dwells within the dark chambers of my heart, please hear my prayers and grant your blessings as we attempt to crush our enemies, see them driven before us, and to hear the lamentations of the women. All right, playing against Chapo, 27. All right, so we can see some ramp abilities here. Turn 1, we get out the Llanowar Elf. Turn 2, we can get out this guy for pilot. Or we can just go straight into this guy. That's probably the best course of action. Or actually, we could hold off and just put him out on turn 3. Let's try that. You don't have... Oh, you're going to play something out of your hand for 1 or 2. All right. Who's milling? You? I would mill yourself if you can play that kind of thing. There you go. All right, plot. And we're plotted. Oh, don't kill the Llanowar Elf. All that just to kill Llanowar Elf. Well, it did keep me from playing a full bore Overlord. Let's see, next turn we can put out the Overlord. Hopefully he doesn't have just creature kill straight up. I'm sure he will. He'll be able to play back the stuff he's got in the graveyard. Green. All right, let's go. Bloom-Kin. All right, we're slapping him around. We've got 15 points lined straight up right there. All right, let's just take it in. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom. Goes the room. Victory! And we're playing against Gafadling. Gandalfling. Something like that. Keep. No, kitty cat. No, kitty! This tiger reminds me of an advertisement for smoking. Well, this is the first time I played this deck. I haven't got the Llanowar Elves out straight up. We're just digging for lands is what we're doing. I'm trying to get up to 7. That's my deal here. All right, 3 will start the countdown clown on that guy. Then with 4. What's he doing? Target card. Okay, that's fine. Five. I'm just going to put this guy out. All right, if I plot this guy, we'll be able to go on to the Tyrant by the next turn. All right, we got a guy that could take out one of your guys. If you want to attack with all 3, that's great. That's 9, but you're going to lose one of them. I love haste. I love Gruul haste big time too. That Wildfire Wickerfolk is a good card from a Moneyball perspective. Well, that's bad mojo. Now, please don't kill me in this 1 turn alone. That would be bad. Okay. Mana! I get a little bit of life. Nice. Drawing some cards. What are you going to do with my guy? You get the exile stuff, +4/+4 and trample. That's pretty good. Whatever, FOMO. I say next turn we're laying down the beef. Let's kill that guy. I'm down to 4. That is rough. But we can play this guy. And I'll put out this guy because I can. I don't really need the mana, but having an 8/8 would be great. And yeah, let's go for it. Nice. All right, we got yet another guy. That's got to be hard to be looking up against right now. I don't have this trample, though. That's my big problem here. We just going for it. All right, cool. What happens now in the second turn? I really want to lose another guy. Yeah, you can be lost. That's fine. And we win! Suck and sucker fish! Victory! All right, playing against Laffter. All right, this guy's okay to drop. I like going up for 3. 3's great, but I don't really have anything else to do, and I need to be a little more aggro here. Let's get those as a mana source. 2, all in for 2. Okay, so I got technically 3. I could Bushwhack. Block it. Fight. And we're gonna plot. That's what the story has ahead of it. We just got nothing but mana lined up, but nothing to do with this. I'm hoping we'll draw some awesome cards here in a second. What can we do with this? Return it to our hand. It costs 7 to go get good stuff. We don't have 7 mana. We got 3, 4. Well, that didn't work out the way I expected it to. All right, anyways, I was hoping to drop this thing for the disguise. That did not work out. We'll have 6 mana, 7. All right, cool. We just got to draw something that requires 7 mana. Yeah, we don't have 7 anymore. All right, we got the jump on Overlord, which is cool. A lot of mana, though. That's a problem. All right, so we got 4, 5, 6, number 7 right there. I would really like to see a Sire of 7 Deaths. Polukranos, Nissa, lots of great stuff for 7 mana. You're staring down at 10 right here, aren't you? He's just blowing his guy away. All right, good for us. All right, we got a lot of mana. We just need to get more good stuff to do. We're just going to be, we'll come at him. He'll lose his guy. We'll lose our guy. That's fine. As long as we can maintain the advantage. I claim all the territory on the other side of the creek. I hope he's panicking a little bit. That's cool. All right, he left at 2 mana. Don't care. What does this do? I gotta go look for creatures. I have evidence for 8. I only have 7. So let's just pop it in. Yeah, at least you need to do that. There we go. And see, I think we can do that now. Keep clicking until we get enough. Who do I want? First Strike Vigilant. This guy looks really good, doesn't he? Let's just do it. Ooh, look what I could just play. Boink. Yeah, what are you going to do with that? There we go. Suck it, suckerfish. Victory. All right, I'm playing against you. I don't know how to pronounce W's together. So I'm just going to hold off on that. All that's going to do is put a land in my hand. I got tons in my hand already. The idea that I could potentially use it to go look for something cool is probably better. What's your deal? 2/2, same thing? I can't offspring you, so let's put you out. Next turn we can offspring into double Wildguide. You just want to kill that. Alright, good for you. Thing is, he's trying to mill me. That's the real question here, right? He did get me up to a full meal deal here, though, didn't he? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not enough yet. Let's just do this one. All right, so we've got 4. We'll have 5 next turn. Well, 5, 6, 7, which means we should go digging for our friend. Yeah, he's trying to mill us. All right, come on in. You look like a really cool dude, man. I like you quite a bit. What do we got there? A bunch still? Let's double this up. And then pop it. Oh, I need a lot for that. All right, I guess that's not going to happen. He's still trying to pin that guy down. Skeletons. All right, cool. I'm gonna put out, not you! Cancel. What am I doing? Grabbing the wrong cards? That's just nuts, man. He wants to plow me. I got 38 cards. As I come at him, I've got 6, 10, 17. That was your whole thing there, huh? And we win! And we win! Victory! I'm playing against Josie.Punch. All right, I could drop this guy for 2. He's 3. We're just digging for mana at this point. Got to try to get up to 7. If we can just wait on this guy to put out 4, that'd be great. Okay, I'm just going to drop him now. This guy playing Golgari. We're hung card. There we go. We'll put you out. Push you out for there. What do we got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, we're so close to Vaultborn Tyrant levels. He's at 2 mana. That's cool. We are raging with ramp right now. I don't need more mana. I think I'm good, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. No attacks. We're cool. Now, if we lose one of these guys on this turn, that would be bad. Not coming up. All right, there we go. Up. All right, you're just going to chump. That's fine. Have a good time. Get another Tyrant down our next turn. That Shouldered, I mean, it's bad that Shouldered's there, but hopefully the Tyrants are going to be more than what he can handle. You know what? This is the guy I don't care for. Here we go. You go get something good. That's bad. 6. I got enough here. 7 straight up. All right, take it. All those guys, huh? All right, cool. What do we have that'll be good in this situation? Polukranos, turn in 2 guys. Let's just put this guy out. We'll grab him out in a second. And we're loaded. We got 3 6s right now. That means he's going to have to give up Shoulder next turn. Archfiend of the Tross, nuts. There you go. You can block one with your Archfiend if you want to lose them. And we're just going to be doing nothing but gaining life from our Vaultborn Tyrants. This guy, he is not legendary, is he? Oh, cancel. I only got 7 there, huh? We'll just leave this guy behind. We can throw him away if we have to. All right, he's back up to 8. We got Trampler guys looking crazy right now. Want to lose 7 life? You can go ahead and try to target him. Nope, no attacks. All right, it's plenty of life. All right, there we go. Make some decisions. You can kill off the little boy if you want to. By the way, I should have been pumping this guy like crazy. I forget that's even his ability. There you go. And we win! Boom, boom! Goes the room. Victory! All right, so we are with Crushing Green. And it was a great deck. You know what I liked about it was the fact that it was just a good old-fashioned mono green ramp deck. And you didn't have to use any tricks to get these huge dudes into play. It was all just, I'm going to pay for it with the mana that I'm putting out at the beginning of the game. And the nice thing was that we were putting out a bunch of creatures. So even if I wasn't able to use these guys for mana, they were still creatures. And this is the guy I completely underused. He was way better than I gave him credit for. And the fact that if you're not going to use him for mana, you could put a Popo counter on him. Yeah, that is really good. This guy gets really big. So I got to say, the Tender Wildguide is a really good guy. Polukranos is great. This guy helped a lot with the ramp. So yeah, altogether, it was just nice to play a nice, clean ramp deck. It's like I haven't seen those in such a long time. Plus, well, who was it? They Analyze the Pollen. I was thinking, oh, this is just another Bushwhack. I'm just going to go use it to get another stupid land. No. You're going to use it for the evidence collection. You're going to go get Sire of the 7 Deaths, and you're going to be putting that guy out to a bunch. This guy will go get the guy that you need, and it works really well because you got lots of other mana sources. So don't waste your Analyze the Pollen on going and getting mana. It's just not worth it. So yeah, no, it was great. It was a great, clean, mono green deck. I liked it a lot. All right, so let's get down to it. Let's count it out. All right, so who was the MVP? Who was the most valuable player? Boy, that is rough. Yeah. It's almost Llanowar Elves. It's almost Llanowar Elves in this situation. Just because he was, okay, I'm just going to call it. I'm going to say it was the Llanowar Elves. He was the MVP of this particular deck. Why is that? Because you really needed to hit it first. Like this needed to be a first turn drop. And he's what made the rest of the deck work so much better. And the times I didn't get the Llanowar Elf on my first turn, the deck did not do nearly as well. So really, he was the engine that kept things going. If you see a Llanowar Elf, you got to kill it. Just because it will slow down your opponent's deck like crazy. Sure, turn 2, I could put out Tender Wildguide. That's practically as good. But you know what? It's turn 2. Like basically, by putting this guy on turn 1, turn 2 becomes turn 3. I've got such a jump on everything. And if I can keep the things going, then by turn 3, I'm throwing out dudes for 5 straight up on turn 3, which shouldn't happen, right? but that's even more mana, which then gets us turn 4 for putting out like 7s or something like that. I mean, the ability to ramp so quickly with this deck is hardcore, and Llanowar Elf is the key for making that happen. There's a lot of mana in here that comes out, but you can't play it directly to the battlefield. You need to put your creatures out. And these guys are just waiting to be used. Between Bramble Familiar, Tender Wildguide, and the Llanowar Elf, those are your real early game ramps, and Llanowar Elf is the very first one that makes the rest of your deck so much better. So no matter how good these guys are, the real key to this deck is Llanowar Elf. So graduation, Llanowar Elf, you are going to Disneyland. All right, was this deck competitive? I got a 64% win rate out of it. That is a pretty decent rate. Yeah, there were times this deck was just a monster. It was just going really well. Occasionally you play against what felt like combo decks, like that would get to like a nice mid-rangey kind of way. You get to a certain point and you just can't defeat them. The deck was doing great, but it was just like, it's all just about getting big creatures out and trampling in. And sometimes their deck were just beyond that at that point. So this deck could be a little slow. It's basically, if you did very well in your early game with getting your ramp going, this deck can usually take out anybody. Yeah, I took out like Zombify decks. I mean, it was great. Like I even went up against what's that giant moth demon guy? Vornklex or something? No, that's a Phyrexian. Anyways, the moth demon. I went up against that guy and I took him out. And it was great. But that's because I had the speed on my side. So you got to get your ramp going hot, and then there's almost nothing anybody can do about it. It's when you don't get your early ramp going, that's when you kind of get into a position where your opponent gets to set up his board, and yeah, you could lose out to that. Still, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It's a great deck, well within the Platinum Mythic levels. So yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, this is a competitive deck. Number 2, was this deck fun? Yeah, it was fun. Why was it fun? Because it had, even though it was more of a mid-range, kind of you're climbing that curve, it had enough going on early that I felt it was sort of aggro. And the deal was I'm putting out creatures. Those creatures are mostly there just to get out the B mana sources. But, you know, if I didn't have it, if it didn't work that right way, I still had creatures. I was still attacking. I was still doing a good job at them. You know, I was really hoping that I'd build the mana up so I'd be able to get out the Overlords at 5. Even the Trailblazer with a 4 for power is fantastic. Polukranos is incredible for 3. So you can see our mid-game creatures were top shelf. But then being able to potentially turn our in-game creatures into mid-game creatures because of ramp, that's the real power of this deck. So this was, even though it looks mid-rangey just because we had such high-priced creatures, the ramp brings these guys down to mid-range, which makes this into mostly an aggro-style game, which to me is what made it so fun. All right, and lastly, was this deck interesting? Yeah. The reason why is because it was mono-green ramp, and you just don't see mono-green ramp anywhere in the meta. It was good to see that come back again. I got to say, I was surprised by this card. I've never played with it. I haven't played a Possum deck. I don't even know if you could put together Possum Tribal. But he is an incredible 2-drop. The fact that if you got tons of mana, you know, like 4, you could put out 2 of them. That just really rockets you into the mid-game, late game at mid-game kind of situation. Plus, if he's not useful as a 2/2 and a 1/1, you can keep pumping him to pump itself up. So yeah, this guy is fantastic. Yeah, so I was all totally beyond this deck. I thought it was interesting to play, and that's the score we're going to give it. All right, so let's add this up. Where are we at? Well, was it competitive? Yes. Was this deck fun? Absolutely. Was it interesting? Yes, it was. All right, so that makes it into an A+ deck. And as I'm required by federal law to say, this deck is so choice. I'd highly recommend you pick one up, should you have the means. That is all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. From all of us here in the secret underground headquarters of Uncommonly Good MTG, have a great day. In the words of my people, shine on, you crazy diamonds. Later.